Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Alfred Hitchcock. Tonight's play takes place in merry old England and is called I Killed the Count. When they asked me to wear this, I demurred. I didn't realize it would be an invitation for automation to take over. Empty. Now, what does that imply? Oh, well. Let the play begin.
Tony, your tea.
Oh, there you are. Too drunk to make it to bed this time.
Well, I hope you slept it off. Count Matoni. Wake up, sir. It's Hater.
It's awful, simply awful, Inspector. Having a tenant shoot himself in Oxley Court. All the publicity, the notoriety.
I'm afraid Count Matoni didn't shoot himself, Mr. Martin. Someone did that for him.
What? Do you mean that he was murdered? In Oxley Court? How dreadful.
Mr. Martin, will you tell us a little about your late tenant? His previous address, references, business habits, friends, that sort of thing?
Yes, I'll get his address from the records, of course. But I'm afraid there's not very much else that I know about the Count. He's only been here about 3 months. So far as I know, he had no business.
The maid's here, sir. Do you want to see her now?
Yes, surely.
Yes.
And you'll get us whatever else you can from your records, will you?
Yes, immediately.
This is Polly Stevens, Inspector. The maid on this floor. She's the one who discovered the body.
Ah, yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Won't you sit down?
All right.
We know you've had rather a shock, Polly, and talking about it may be disturbing. But I'm afraid we must ask you a few questions, so I'll be as quick as I can, and you just try not to let it upset you, hmm?
Oh, it don't.
Good. Why not?
Oh, I've been mixed up in so many murders and robberies and whatnot. It's an old story to me. I'm always losing me job because me employer got arrested or shot or something. That's how I lost me last one.
I see. Then you'll probably know the kind of question I want to ask you. Now then.
When did I last see the deceased alive? Did I notice anything unusual? Who were his friends? Did I ever hear him quarreling?
Yes, well, I suppose we just run through that batch for a starter.
Well, I last seen him last night when I came in to turn the bed down, about 9 as usual. He came in as I was leaving, drunk as usual. Am I going too fast for you?
No, go on.
As for friends, I never saw him with anybody else. No wonder if you ask me.
No, you didn't care for him, then?
He wasn't no gent, I'll say that much.
Ah, I see. Tell me, have you ever seen this before, Polly?
Yes, it's his. He keeps it in that drawer there.
Now, when you came in this morning, did you notice a cartridge case by any chance on the floor or anywhere?
No, I didn't. Can I get on with me beds now? I'm getting terribly behind.
Oh, yes, of course, yes. And thank you for being so helpful, Polly.
Do you want to talk to some of the other tenants now, sir?
No, I think we'll finish with our landlord first.
Oh, yes, sir. Oh.
Oh, thank you. Yes, this is your first murder since they passed you out of Hendon, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, well, it should be a good experience. Of course, I'm afraid you'll find that some of that beautiful theory they taught you at Hendon won't stand up in actual practice. But don't let that worry you.
No, sir, I shan't.
Just remember to be thorough and persevere, and you'll be all right. You can take my word for that. I have a rather good record myself, as it happens. 12 murders so far, and 11 convictions.
Oh, that's very good, sir, isn't it? What happened to the other one, sir?
Well, let's run over what we have, Rains.
Oh, yes, sir. The time of death, according to Surgeon Dodds, probably between midnight and 2 a.m. Cause of death, gunshot wound in temple from close range, probably from gun, found here, which belonged to the deceased, Count Victor Mattoni. His wallet, found here, with 2 very good fingerprints in blood on one of the banknotes, sir.
Very obliging of him, I think.
Yes, sir, if they belong to the murderer.
Well, of course, Rains.
This tassel or whatever it is looks like it might have been torn off a drapery or something. But it doesn't seem to match anything in here.
Well, let me see it.
And this turned over lamp, and that's about all, sir.
Yes, but no cartridge case.
No, sir.
Strange, you know. A fired pistol, a bullet, no cartridge case.
Shall I send the pistol and the wallet down to the yard, sir?
Yes. Yes, have the prints checked against our records, and as soon as the surgeon has the bullet, have it checked against the gun.
Yes, sir.
Listen to this, Rains. Lord Sorrington regrets that he must ask Count Mattoni to regard the dinner invitation provisionally extended for Monday the 17th as definitely cancelled. Viscount Sorrington, eh? So he knew the Count.
Doesn't sound very happy about it, does he?
Yeah. Oh, try and get him on the telephone. There's a number here, Grosvenor or something.
Yes, sir. That's odd, sir.
Oh, what?
Well, this is dated the 1st, sir. That's 13 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is only postmarked yesterday.
Oh. Yes, it is. I wonder what it's been doing since... come in.
Grosvenor 9555, please.
Here is the Count's previous address, Inspector, in Rome.
Thank you.
Is Lord Sorrington there, please? Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Mann?
There don't seem to be any references, I'm sorry to say. He always paid his rent in advance very promptly, so we didn't ask for any.
Ah. Oh, by the way, Mr. Martin, is this flat occupied?
Just a moment, please. Excuse me, sir. I have his office in the wire now.
Oh, good. Hello? Inspector Davidson of Scotland Yard here. I'd like to speak to Lord Sorrington, please. No, I'm sorry. I'm afraid you'll have to interrupt him. Lord Sorrington, this is Inspector Davidson of Scotland Yard. I'm so sorry to disturb you, sir, but there's been an accident to a friend of yours, Count Victor Mattoni.
Who did you say? There must be some mistake, Inspector. I've never heard of the man.
But I beg your pardon. Are you sure? Because... Could you please come over to the Count's flat, sir, so we can talk about this? Oxley Court, Baker Street.
That's quite impossible, Inspector. I have an important engagement in a few minutes. Yeah. Oh, well, if you insist, in about an hour, then?
We'll try not to keep you long, sir. Thank you so much. Goodbye. Now, this next flat. We noticed the doors were unbolted on this side. Is that usual?
Oh, no, sir. No. Dear, it's been a great worry to me. There was a terrible scandal here once when... that was before my time, of course.
Yes, of course. Is the flat occupied now?
Well, yes, in a way.
Well, what do you mean, in a way?
Well, a gentleman named Rupert... Dear, I'm afraid he's rather mysterious, too. He engaged the flat 2 weeks ago, by letter, enclosing a week's rent.
Only a week?
Oh, yes. The furnished flats are let by the week sometimes. So I thought he would just stay a week. But on the following Friday morning, Polly found another week's rent in an envelope on the table.
What does he look like?
Nobody has seen him, as far as I know. Except Mullet. The night liftman on the first night. Polly dusts the room every day, but she says it doesn't look lived in at all.
Oh. Well, I should like to have a word with Mr. Rupert if he's there.
I don't know. We could see.
Good. Now, Mr. Martin, what other tenants are there on this floor?
Well, in this wing, only Mr. Rupert, Inspector. That flat is unoccupied. 2 ladies in the other wing and 1 empty flat there.
They've all been told not to leave until you've seen them, sir. Yeah. One of them is of the theatre, a dancer, sir, a Miss Laloon.
Oh. Well, steady, Ren. Open up. Another week's rent. So he was here last night.
Look here, sir, the cartridge case.
So it is. And now we're getting someplace.
What is it, Inspector? What does it mean?
It means that you're not likely to be seeing your Mr. Rupert. Not as a tenant, at least.
Do you mean that he shot the Count? A tenant shot a tenant?
Well, if he didn't, he'll have some very difficult questions to answer. Yes. If he fired from here, the cartridge case could have been ejected there.
Look at this, sir.
What?
It's a letter to a Bernard K. Froy. Dear Mr. Froy, I must repeat that I have nothing whatever to discuss with you. I do not wish to see you either here at my flat or... My hat, sir, it stops. There's a space and then it goes on. Froy has just come in room, can see him in mirror. He has gun. If anything happens, you will... And that's all, sir.
Let me see.
Is that the Bernard K. Froy, the American fellow, the racehorse owner and polo player and all that?
No, I doubt if there are 2 Bernard K. Froys. Get me the Dorchester Hotel right away, please. I believe we can let you return to your duties now, Mr. Martin. Would you be good enough to ask Clifton to step in?
Yes, I'd be glad to.
Thank you. Hello, Dorchester. Is a Mr. Bernard K. Froy staying with you? He is. No, I don't want to speak to him at the moment. Oh, is he? Goodbye, miss, thank you. He's there, all right, but leaving this morning, so he thinks. Come in. All right, Clifton, off you go. Take somebody with you and get right over to the Dorchester. And bring back a Mr. Bernard K. Froy with you.
Bernard K. Froy?
Yes, oh, tell him it's nothing important, but be sure and bring him, understand?
Yes, sir.
Well, that didn't take long, did it?
You think that Rupert and Bernard K. Froy are one and the same and the murderer?
Well, it seems rather inescapable, don't you think? Of course, we may have to prove Froy's Rupert, so let's get on with that. Now, the night liftman, Minnow.
Mullet, sir.
Whatever his name is, we'll have him next.
Yes, sir, right away.
Mullet isn't here yet, sir.
We've sent for him, sir. He only lives just round the corner.
Good. What we're looking for, Johnson, is someone who knows Mr. Rupert in the next flat. Have you seen him? Could you identify him?
Never set eyes on him myself, sir.
Oh, but you were on the lift last night. Didn't you ring him up or see him?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. Oh, you don't happen to know Mr. Bernard K. Froy, do you? An American?
Oh, yes, sir. That's one I would know. He was in to see the Count, he was. One afternoon, maybe 3 weeks ago. I remember, because when I told him the Count was out, he gave me a funny look and said, he's in all right. He's just afraid to see me.
Then you'd know him, you think, if you saw him again?
Oh, yes, sir.
That's all, thank you.
No, sir, I never saw Mr. Rupert night or morning. Wouldn't know he was ever in the place if he hadn't left the rent that time.
Do you go in to turn the bed down at night, whether he's there or not?
Yes, sir.
About what time?
Oh, 9 when I leave here.
Now, did you notice when you went in last night if the rent was on the table?
Yes, sir, I did notice, and it wasn't.
Well, thank you, Polly. I think that's all for now.
Yes, sir.
Mullet's here, sir.
Mullet, eh?
That's right.
Odd.
What's so odd about it?
Oh, nothing. I seem to know your face from somewhere.
Oh, I don't know yours.
You're the night liftman here, is that right?
That's right.
And you showed Mr. Rupert up to the next door flat when he arrived?
Yes, sir.
And would you know him? Could you positively identify him if you saw him again?
Well, of course I could.
Good. Now, have you seen him since that time?
Excuse me, sir. Mr. Foy is here.
Oh, well, Mullet, would you wait in the bedroom, please, for the time being? We'll call you when we need you.
Very good, sir.
Just a minute, Wren. All right, show him in.
Come in, please, Mr. Foy. I'm Detective Rain, sir. This is Inspector Davidson. He'd like to ask you a few questions.
How do you do? I'd like to ask a few myself. To begin with, what's this all about? I'm leaving for the continent this afternoon, and I haven't time for games.
We seldom indulge in games at Scotland Yard, Mr. Foy. We wanted to ask you about an acquaintance of yours, Count Mattoni.
Count who?
Count Victor Mattoni.
Sorry, never heard of him.
Perhaps I should tell you that Johnson, one of the lift men here, says he can positively identify you, and that you called in to see the Count one afternoon, and you said, when told he wasn't in, that he was afraid to see you. Shall I send for Johnson?
Oh, never mind. All right, I know him. Didn't want to be connected with him, that's all. He's a pretty unsavory character. I stopped by once to try to collect a gambling debt, but it didn't work.
And why did you come by last night, Mr. Fry?
Last night? But I didn't. That once was the only time.
And you don't happen to have rented the next flat under the name of Rupert?
Of course I didn't. Why should I?
Would you be kind enough to examine this?
Why didn't you tell me you had this?
So you were here.
Seems rather obvious, doesn't it?
Yes, I'm afraid it does, Mr. Fry. In fact, the whole thing seems rather obvious. Inescapable, I should say. The Count was murdered last night.
Yeah, I know. I killed him.
Ah. Would you care to tell me about it? However, you're not compelled to make a statement. And I must warn you that anything you do say will be taken down in writing and may be used in evidence.
What difference does it make? I'm cooked anyhow with the letter, everything else.
Yes, I'm afraid you are, Mr. Fry. And besides the letter, there's your renting of the next flat under the name of Rupert. The cartridge case there.
Wait a minute, what's this Rupert business? I don't know anything about him or the flat next door or anything else. I think you're rather confused, Inspector.
Do you? We might as well settle this right now, I suppose. Come in, Mullet. Now, will you take a good look at this gentleman, please? Well?
Well, what?
Well, have you seen him before?
No, not him.
Huh? You mean he's not Rupert?
Ah, nothing like him. Mr. Rupert looks like a real gent, he does.
Yes, but, Hello. Oh, is he? No, thank you. Mr. Fry, I'm afraid I must interrupt this for a moment. We shan't be long. Will you follow me, please? Clifton, will you escort Mr. Froy to the empty flat opposite, please?
Yes, sir. Come on, sir.
You can go now, Mullet, but don't leave the premises.
No, sir.
Lord Sorrington?
Yes.
I'm Inspector Davidson. It's very good of you to come, sir.
Sorry to have kept you waiting. I should like to know what this is all about, Inspector.
Won't you sit down, sir?
Thanks.
I hope we haven't inconvenienced you too greatly, sir. If we'd known what we do now, it might not have been necessary for you to come. However, now that you're here, all we want to ask you is what you know about Count Mattoni. You see, he's been murdered.
Ah. But I told you, Inspector, I've never heard of the man.
I'm sure you have some good reason for saying that, sir, but...
Ah. Where'd you get this?
It came in the post this morning, though apparently it was written a fortnight ago.
My secretary shall hear about this. Well, obviously I did know the fellow, though very slightly. And if you know him at all, Inspector, you'll understand my reluctance to be connected with him, especially with Scotland Yard involved. One assumes something disreputable with his sort, you know.
Yes, I quite understand. So there's nothing you can tell us about him?
No, I'm afraid not. So, if that's all...
I beg your pardon, sir. Excuse me, my lord.
What is it, Ren? Are you sure?
Yes, sister.
Good. All right, bring him in.
Yes.
I'm afraid something's come up to delay us some more, sir. If you'll be so kind.
Yes, of course.
Mullet. Do I understand that you believe this gentleman to be Rupert?
There's no believing about it, sir. That's him. Good morning, sir.
What's he talking about?
Rupert, sir, is the name of the tenant in the next flat.
Why, the man's mad.
Are you sure, Mallet?
Well, of course I am. How could I forget a fine-looking gent like him?
All right, thank you.
Look here, Inspector. I don't know the meaning of this, but obviously the man's lying.
I'm afraid not, sir. You'd be difficult to mistake. Besides, what purpose could he have?
All right. I did take the flat. After all, Inspector, you're a man of the world. Is there anything wrong in that?
Well, wasn't it indiscreet to take such a flat in the same building next door to someone you knew?
Well, it's pure coincidence. I had no idea that Count Mattoni had a flat in this building, much less that... Oh. My letter.
Yeah. You've not been frank with me, sir. And now I should like you to tell me everything you know about the murdered man.
Well, you're obviously going to find out the truth.
Good evening. I firmly believe that everyone should indulge now and then in some form of athletic sport, don't you? Personally, I don't require much exercise, since I lead a very Spartan existence. But when I do, I find my needs are adequately filled by such sports as riding or reading the less violent portions of the Sunday papers. Of course, for a true test of bodily coordination, I think there's nothing better than lying in a hammock. But I suppose that would only appeal to those of you who enjoy living dangerously. As for tonight's play, it is called My Brother Richard, and it begins in a country club. By the way, golf is one game I've never cared much for. I don't like the paperwork. I find adding up my strokes too fatiguing.
Stuffing papers in that case, Martin, you won't have room for a clean shirt.
It's just the notes for tonight's speech, hon. Can't expect me to ad-lib my way into the governor's mansion.
Isn't that how you became district attorney?
Oh, a little more respect, please.
Yes, sir. Well, now, what's this for?
Just in case I get lonely.
Well, you'll only be awake 24 hours. Besides, I thought you saw my face in your dreams.
Supposing I get insomnia.
Well, that'll be the night. Now, Martin, you'll be late.
Where is everybody?
We're in here, Richard.
Greetings. Hello, Richard.
Hello.
You almost missed me. I'm on my way to the state committee dinner in Bridgetown.
Oh? For my favorite sister-in-law.
Oh, you spoil me.
But of course. Why bother with Bridgetown? It really isn't necessary.
Well, it is if I want the nomination. Everything counts.
You'll have the nomination. That's what I've come to tell you.
There you go with that crystal ball of yours again. But thanks for the confidence.
Well, you two admire each other, and I'll get dressed. Are you coming to the station with us, Richard?
I hope to persuade Martin not to go.
And waste that case full of speech he's prepared? Never.
Truthfully, Richard, I've made a few too many speeches of late. I wouldn't mind skipping a few.
I wish you'd try my tailor, Martin.
I can't afford him. I'm a public servant, not the owner of a successful construction company.
The governor of the state will be able to afford my tailor.
There you go, calling the shots again. But aren't you forgetting my worthy opponent?
If you're referring to Burton Reeves, you don't have to worry.
Oh, he's just one of the most important men in our party. Fine record in state politics. Third-term member of the legislature. And I... well, I'm your brother.
My brother happens to be a man who can't lose.
All right, if you say so.
I'm going to send you a case of my vermouth, Martin. It's so much drier.
I promise you, Richard, that if I win the nomination, I shall drink your vermouth and I'll go to your tailor. I'll even recommend you as a fortune teller. But right now, I'm on my way to Bridgetown.
Martin, Burton Reeves is dead.
What? Dead?
Yes. Dead.
When did it happen?
About half an hour ago. I killed him. I did it for you. I should say us. At any rate, Mr. Reeves has conceded the nomination with my assistance.
You killed Reeves? You couldn't.
I must say that I was very pleased to find that I could. See how that suits your taste. Oh, I forgot you don't take an olive. About half an hour ago, in the shower room at the club, I very neatly and nicely shot Mr. Reeves in the back of the head. No one saw me come in, no one saw me leave, so no one will ever know. Oh, come, Martin, stop behaving as though I'd committed a crime. Burton Reeves meant nothing to me. He was in the way. You wanted to be governor, I wanted you to be governor. Now you will be. We both know that whoever wins the nomination wins the election. I made sure that it was you.
Kill a man to win an election?
Perfectly acceptable motive for murder. Answer it, Martin.
Hello? Yes, it is. Sheriff Griggs, Reeves? How did it happen? I see. I'll have to call you back.
Well?
It happened exactly as you said it did. I'll have to resign. But you needn't worry, Richard. I'll defend you.
Don't be so melodramatic, Martin. Sometimes that halo of yours gets a bit tiresome. Of course, you don't have to resign. You certainly don't have to defend me. All you have to do is find yourself another murderer. No one will know that it was I. Find someone else, that's all, anyone. There must be half a dozen of our fellow club members who had something against Burton Reeves. Pick the most likely one. Build your case, and at the proper moment, they'll find this in his possession. Exhibit A in the state's case. This conviction will get you more votes than 100 speeches in Bridgetown, I can tell you that. Go to it, Governor. Only remember, I get all of the construction work in the state from now on.
I always knew you were ambitious, Richard, but I never realized it was a disease.
Now, look, I've been to a great deal of trouble for you, and you don't appear to be very cooperative. Now, do as I say.
Calmly announce that you've murdered a man and ask me to find someone else to take the blame. And then you expect me to say, congratulations, brother, well done?
Why not? It was well done.
I'm the district attorney, Richard. I can't go around framing people. It's insane.
I'm ready.
Oh, my. Doesn't she look lovely, Martin? You'd better do as I say. If you want her to stay alive. You've been doing a lot of thinking, Martin. I hope it's been productive.
I'm just remembering, Richard. When you started in the construction business, you had a partner. Whatever became of him?
I didn't kill him, if that's what you mean.
Not with a gun, perhaps, but... I remember you said that he wasn't aggressive and that his ideas weren't big enough to suit you. So you taught him. You taught him how to live, how to dress, how to spend. And you taught him so well that he wound up exactly where you wanted him. Up to his ears in debt. And you were the noble friend who bought him out at your price. Oh, you didn't kill him, Richard. You ruined him.
That was only good business.
Yes, it was good business to ruin a man. It was good business to kill a man, but what good is it going to do to kill Laura?
Oh, I can't listen to this anymore. I don't want to hear it again.
Oh, but darling, please.
Now, Laura is upset, and there is no need for it. Just do what I told you to.
You know perfectly well I'm not going to allow an innocent person to take the blame for your crime. And I know your threats against Laura are just that, threats.
How do you know? How can you be sure?
My sister-in-law seems to understand me better than you do. I'm very fond of you, Laura. Really, I am. I always have been. I hate seeing you upset like this. Perhaps if I left you two alone, you could persuade Martin that the only way for all of us is my way. Let's get this unpleasant business over and begin behaving normally again. I won't be far away, I promise. I advise you to listen to Laura and don't use the phone.
No, don't use the phone. Can't you see he really means it? He'll kill me.
No, sweetheart, he won't. What would be the point? He can't get away with it. Even he knows that.
But I'm afraid that he will.
Darling, it's exactly what he wants, to frighten you into forcing me to go along with him. But there's no logic to his plan. It might take weeks, even months, to find a patsy for him. And he can't hold you, not even for 24 hours. He has to fall asleep sometime. Can't you see how insane the whole thing is?
Yes, exactly, because Richard is insane. Now, that's why I'm afraid.
Laura, look, we're going to leave here now, together.
No, Martin, he's probably waiting for us. I don't know.
He's not going to do anything. You trust me.
No, Martin.
Trust me. Laura.
She's only frightened, poor darling. I didn't hit her. Not this time.
Oh, all right, Laura.
Answer it. Answer it.
yes, it is. Sheriff Briggs? Oh. Who? I'll be right down. It's Briggs. He says he has the murderer of Burton Reeves in his office right now.
Oh, by all means, send him in. So, DA, I guess you'll start talking now. Martin.
Hello,
Sorry to bother you at home, but we've got this kid dead to rights. It's all down here. He just has to sign it.
Hello, Tommy.
You know him?
One of the best caddies I ever had.
Will you tell him he's nuts, Mr. Ross?
Will you stop? That's all he keeps on saying. Now, here are the facts, Martin. This kid had an argument with Burton Reeves less than an hour before the poor guy was found with a bullet in his head.
What was the argument about, Tommy?
Reeves said that he stole his wallet.
From the size of that guy's tips, I'd never know he had a wallet.
All right, so you didn't steal it. We're not accusing you of stealing anything.
Yeah, thanks for nothing.
Here's the way I got it figured. When Reeves threatened to have this boy arrested, he panicked because he'd been in trouble with the law before. Now he catches Reeves alone in the locker room, waits until he gets in the shower, and while the water is running, he shoots him and walks out.
Sure, the perfect crime.
All you have to do is sign the confession.
I ain't signing nothing.
I'd like to talk to him alone, Jim.
All right, Martin. If you need me, I'll be outside.
Thank you.
Hey, Mr. Ross. You don't think I did it?
Sit down, Tommy. Oh, you needn't be frightened. Nobody's going to hurt you. How's your ball club?
Pretty good, I guess.
You the pitcher?
No, sir, shortstop.
I bet you're pretty good.
Look, Mr. Ross, what's going to happen to me? The sheriff keeps telling me I killed this guy. A thing like this could be serious.
It is serious, Tommy. That's why I wanted to talk to you. I need your help.
My help?
I want you to sign that confession.
You're just like all the rest of them. Just because I got into trouble once when I was a kid, everybody wants to blame me for everything that happens in this town.
What kind of trouble, Tommy?
Well, look, I never been in jail or anything. One time these kids borrowed a car without asking. I went along for the ride. Boy, was I a dope.
And you've never been a dope like that again?
I'll say I haven't. I haven't been in trouble since. Look, I made the ball team. I got myself a swell job down at the club caddying. Well, at least it was a swell job until this guy Reeves gets himself bumped off. Oh, I'm right back where I started.
Tommy, how would you like to help me catch the man that killed Mr. Reeves?
The man? Then you don't think I did it?
I know you didn't do it. But I want you to pretend that you did, just for a little while. It's very important.
You mean you want me to take the rap? And you're going to start looking for some other guy? I don't get it.
I'm afraid I don't have to look, Tommy. I know where he is and who he is. He's a very sick man and a dangerous one. Will you help me?
Gee, I don't know. How do I know this just isn't a trick?
I'm asking a lot, Tommy. You just have to trust me. If we can make him believe that you've confessed to the crime, we can throw him off guard, prevent another murder, and put him where he won't do any more harm. And you'd be the one who made it possible. Will you do it?
Yeah, I guess so. If you're really sure it's going to help.
Thank you, Tommy.
Look, Mr. Ross, could I tell my mother? See, she's kind of nervous. She worries about me a lot.
It'll have to be a secret between us. But it won't be for long, I promise.
Okay. Sure hope I'm not signing my life away.
Laura.
Hello?
Hello, Laura. You all right?
Yes, Martin, I'm all right. But please come home.
I'm on my way, darling. You can tell Richard to put that gun away. Tommy Kopek has confessed to the murder of Burton Reeves.
Tommy Kopeck. That was very accommodating of that caddy to pop up like that just when we needed him. Wasn't it, Laura, dear? I've seen Tommy at the clubhouse. Rather surly fellow. Not overly bright, I imagine. I never cared for him very much. There must be more likely suspects. Still, I suppose Martin knows what he's doing. After all, time is of the essence, isn't it? I hope Martin hurries. I'm eager to know the details. You know, Laura, all one really needs for success is a worthwhile plan and the courage to follow through. Have a drink with me, my dear. We do have something to celebrate. Oh, come now. That's a strange attitude for you to take. I think what's in store for you. You're going to be the wife of a governor. And perhaps someday even the wife of a president, yes. That's not beyond the realm of possibility. Martin, President of the United States. I think we'd all enjoy that very much. Except, of course, for Tommy Kopeck.
It's not true about Tommy. I don't believe it.
What isn't true, my dear?
Well, Martin wouldn't force someone to confess to a murder they didn't commit. He couldn't do that.
Not even to save your life?
No, not even to save my life.
Ooh, such noble sentiments. I'm afraid you're wrong, my dear. My brother's a bit more realistic, also ambitious. I don't think his conscience will trouble him too much. We're really very much alike.
Oh, if I believed that, I don't know what I'd do.
Poor little Laura, with her head in the clouds. I'm afraid you have quite a shock coming.
Well, he'll find some other way. I know he will.
There is no other way. Martin. Very sensible of you, Martin.
I'm trying.
Darling, I was so afraid.
Everything's going to be all right.
Of course it is. You had no trouble getting his confession, did you?
It wasn't easy, Richard. I had to talk to him about circumstantial evidence, his past record. And because he trusted me, he admitted everything I asked for. The verdict will have to be guilty.
Martin, you're not going through with it.
What else can I do? Richard's made me a proposition. Your life or Tommy's. It's just a simple matter of an exchange. From now on, there'll be no gun necessary, right?
Right. May I have the confession?
After I have the gun, Richard, that was our deal. You can trust me.
I'm afraid I can't afford that luxury. Confession, please.
Martin.
Now get out of here.
Of course. Ready, Laura?
Laura?
You don't expect me just to go conveniently off like that alone? Afraid I can't trust that conscience of yours, Martin. It might tempt you to confide in the police. But if Laura is with me...
Oh, no, you can't take her.
Of course I can take her! Sit down! Sit down. I give you my word. The day that Tommy Kopeck is executed, I'll bring her back. Now, come, Laura, dear. We have a long trip ahead of us tonight.
Martin.
You were right, Laura. He's not like me at all. All my trouble was wasted. I'm sorry, Laura. We won't be taking that trip together after all. We'll answer that together.
You are Mr. Martin Ross?
He's...
Laura, who are you?
Do you see what they say about my son? It's a lie. A terrible lie.
It's the truth, Mrs. Cope. Laura, your son has made a full confession.
No, he couldn't. They made him do it. Tommy's a good boy. A little fresh sometimes, maybe, but he could not kill. It's impossible.
Your faith in him is very touching. The facts are that your son committed a particularly cruel and senseless crime, and he must pay for it.
You do not believe this. You are a good man, Mr. Ross. Tommy has told me this. You would know my son could not kill. You will stop this terrible thing.
Please, Mrs. Kopek, I wouldn't think of obstructing justice.
Justice? It's only some bad mistake. You will tell them and they will let Tommy go, please.
I cannot abide sniveling women. Show her out, please, Laura.
I am poor. I can give very little, but I know how to sew. That's how I make my living. I could come to your house many times. I would make many beautiful dresses for you.
I don't understand, Mrs. Kopek.
Are you suggesting a bribe?
Please, Mr. Ross.
I've heard enough. There is nothing I can do for your son. The law must take its course.
And what is this course?
It's very simple. He'll be hanged.
He is only 18.
In the eyes of the law, he's a man. Now, if you will excuse us. Laura.
I only did it to make my boy safe. Only to make him safe.
Laura.
What?
Your boy is safe now, Mrs. Kopek. We all are because of you. That'll be our defense. Yours and mine.
Thus ends My Brother Richard. Needless to say, Mrs. Grant was brought to trial, but fortunately the jury took into account many of the circumstances which we saw reenacted tonight. On our next program, we shall present another story, and I will also be back to provide the marginalia. Until then, good night.
This is a police lineup. Here, desperate criminals who have been brought to bay appear before the detective force and are questioned by the chief detective. Listen.
Take your hat off. Name, Hitchcock, comma, Alfred. Height, 5'6". Weight, prisoner refuses to make a statement. Here's his record. 1940, picked up on suspicion. 1942, spellbound. 1944, notorious. 1955, rear window. 1956, the man who knew too much. Anything to say, Hitchcock?
Well, sir, I admit it ain't a good record, but I'm trying to do better.
Better? Do you call this latest charge doing better? Appearing on television.
I'm sorry, sir, but my family was hungry.
Take him away.
Wait a minute, sir. You've got the wrong man. Don't you want to see a sample of my work?
Okay. Here's what we found on him when we picked him up.
Hold it, kid! Put up your hands. Come on down.
And when we caught him in the alley with it, Officer Rand turned it over to me. It looked like a .38 automatic. But upon examination, it turned out to be a toy. It could have been bought in a 5 and 10. That's it.
You make a statement?
No.
Want to make one now?
Yeah. I didn't know it was loaded.
Okay. Madden. Put him away.
Come on, kid. Come on.
I'm sorry.
Come here.
Smart punk.
No. Dumb kid.
In.
Okay, fatso.
Hey! How long they keep you in here?
Depends on what you done. If it's a felony, you go to the lineup in the morning. You're a rap a felony?
Yeah. What's yours, sleeping one off on a park bench?
Get smart with me, kid, and I'll break your arm.
Well, I'm just asking.
Want to ask? Ask. Don't be a wise guy. What's your squeal? Stick up?
Yeah. An assault.
Hurt the guy bad?
I just slugged him with a gun. I just knocked him down, that's all.
Take a good look at the lie in the morning. Take a good, hard look and see how you like it.
What do they do to you after lineup?
They take you down to get mugged and fingerprinted, then to the criminal courts building for arraignment.
They take your picture?
Yeah.
All the reporters gonna be there from the papers?
You're all charged up, ain't you, kid?
Oh, boy, I'd like to be at Chesky's. Makes the papers.
What's Chesky's?
It's kind of a pool hall place, you know. Guys hang out there. They're all such big shots, they think. They never cared for me much. Once, because of my mother, you know. Do this, don't do that. She always treated me like a baby. Once when I was a kid, I cried because another kid had a nosebleed. Boy, I was really something.
But you're not anymore, huh?
Boy, there's something I hope the papers don't say.
What?
About the gun not being real.
Huh?
I swiped it from a 5 and dime.
Well, it was good enough, wasn't it?
Huh?
It got you in here.
Yeah.
we?
Soon after.
What'll they do to us?
They shoot questions at you. The bull that pinched you'll be there.
Boy, he was a card.
Did you make a statement?
No. But they caught me as soon as I left the place. They knew all about it.
First time?
Yeah, I told you. First time.
No matter how long you've been at it, don't admit nothing else. Tell them you did it, but you don't know why you did it, and you'll never do it again.
What are you? You're a chaplain or something?
Listen, kid, get out of it while you can. It's no picnic, and I'm a guy who knows.
Go!
Hey, what's going on in here?
Nothing.
Hey, you. What'd I do about a shave?
Rub in some milk from the cereal. I'll send a cat in to lick it off.
Oh, he's a riot. Hey, if they want to see me with a beard on, it's okay with me.
Let's go.
Okay, let's get this show on the road.
Sam Johnny, number 14. All right, let's line up against the wall now.
Skinner and Morgan.
Your lineup number is 22.
22.
Skinner, you're 21. All right, let's go at the head of the line.
That's a neat trick.
No talking. All right, let's move ahead. Come on.
Step back behind the white line and face front.
Number 21, step forward to the center and take the circle, please. Suspicion of robbery. How old are you?
49.
Where were you arrested?
I don't remember, sir. I've just been drinking a little.
Officer Boland, you want to refresh his memory a little?
10th Avenue and 39th Street.
Were there any weapons found in connection with your arrest?
No, sir.
You own a car?
No, sir.
You have access to one?
No, sir.
That's all. Step back, please. Next man, number 22, take the circle. Suspicion of robbery and assault. How old are you?
I'm 20.
Where were you arrested?
I don't know. I got lost running.
12th Street and 2nd Avenue.
Were there any weapons found in connection with your arrest?
Yeah. I had a gun.
Keep your face to the front, please. It was a toy gun, wasn't it?
It was good enough to keep that bull way behind me.
Do you own an automobile?
No.
Do you have access to one?
I guess I could get one if I wanted to.
That's all. Step back, please.
Go on, kid. Step back in line.
Next man. That's you, Tyrone. You own an automobile?
No, sir.
You have access to one?
No, sir.
Take off your hat, please. Turn to the left, please. To your left. Now walk a few steps. That's enough. Put your hat back on. Face the front. That's all. Step back, please. Hold out 22. Anyone else?
21.
21 and 22. Step forward, please.
All right, everybody, step right. Come on, move along.
Fall in at the end of the line. Hold him, Charlie.
Right, Chief. Okay. Hold 21 and 22.
That was a lineup. Big deal. I thought we got printed in mug next. What are we in here for?
Because they ain't through with us.
You mean we go back?
We go back.
They picked me out special?
Yeah. You happy?
Well, they didn't pick out those other guys. What's your squeal?
Look, Bud, I don't know you, and I don't want to, so shove off, would you?
Hey, what they got you on?
Can't you tell by looking at him?
I spotted you for a lush, didn't I? Didn't I? I'm just asking for kicks.
You're having a ball, ain't you?
What are they going to ask us this next time?
The story of our lives.
More than last time, huh?
Yeah, a lot more. You ain't gonna learn, are you? You want to come back, don't you?
If I do, I won't be looking like you.
This ain't gonna be such a ball.
Sure, you know all about it, don't you?
I've been around a little.
You know, on park benches all over the country. Now, you're the kind of guy that's afraid of cops. They don't scare me none. I hate them. Dumb jerks. I hate them all.
All right, boys, on your feet. They're about ready for you.
Okay. Okay, because I'm ready for them.
Step behind the white line and face front.
Number 19, take the circle, please. You want to change anything you said before when you were out here? Like the part about whether or not you had a gun?
When I picked him up, he was carrying a .45 automatic.
What about that?
So I was carrying a gun.
Where?
In my pocket.
What were you doing with a gun?
I was just carrying it.
Why?
Look, I got a permit for it. That's all I'm telling you.
Well, if you've got a permit for it, we haven't been able to find it. This is a Navy gun, isn't it? What? Come on, speak up.
Yeah, it's a Navy gun.
Well, what were you doing with it? Why were you carrying it around?
I don't know.
Well, you certainly must have a reason for carrying around a loaded .45. It was loaded, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was loaded. Look, I was just carrying it. I didn't shoot anybody, did I?
I don't know. Were you planning on shooting somebody?
Yeah, sure. Now you got it just right.
Who?
Anybody, all right? Everybody, all right? I was planning on wholesale murder, all right?
All right, not murder, maybe just a little larceny, huh?
No, murder! I was gonna shoot the whole town. You happy now? Okay?
Where'd you get this gun?
In the Navy.
Oh, so you admit stealing government property, is that it?
I found it.
All right. Why did you leave the Navy? Don't you want to tell us? I've got a photostatic copy of your discharge here. What does it say? What does it say? Come on, tell us. What does it say?
Dishonorable! Does that make everything okay now?
Any other questions? That's all. Step back, please. Number 21.
Nice going.
No talking. A face front.
Oh, so this is the man that appears to have the bad memory. Officer Boland, you want to tell him about it?
He threw a garbage can through the window of a clothing store. I found him inside the place with a bundle of overcoats.
Is that right?
I don't remember, sir.
Well, is it or isn't it?
All I remember is waking up in the jail this morning, sir.
And you don't remember throwing anything through a window?
No, sir.
And you don't remember taking those overcoats?
No, sir.
But you did do it, didn't you? A detective found you inside the store with the coats in your arms.
I got only his word for that, sir.
His word is pretty good, isn't it? Considering the way he found you? Well, is his word good or isn't it?
I just don't remember, sir.
You've been here before, haven't you?
I don't remember, sir.
What do you do for a living?
Oh, I'm unemployed, sir.
When's the last time you've worked?
Huh?
When's the last time you've worked?
I don't remember, sir.
You don't remember much of anything, do you?
I have a very bad memory, sir.
Well, it just so happens that I've got a copy of your record here. Maybe this will jog your memory. 1948 assault and robbery.
1949 statutory offense. 1951 burglary. 1952 assault and robbery again. You're quite a guy, aren't you?
You say so, sir.
Not exactly a desirable citizen. Why did you break into that store?
I don't remember breaking into any store, sir.
Hey, what's this? Maybe I should have started looking back into the record a little further. 1938, homicide. Sentenced to life imprisonment. What happened there?
I don't know what you mean, sir.
Well, how come you're on the loose?
It was mistaken identity, sir. The case was appealed.
And never retried?
No, sir. There was insufficient evidence, sir.
Well, this time there is sufficient evidence. That makes you a four-time loser. You know that, don't you?
All I know is you want to get the police on you, all you got to do is buy a cheap bottle of hooch and drink it quiet, minding your own business.
And that's all you did.
That's all I did, sir. I don't remember anything else.
All right, step back. Next man. Well, don't you want your hat? Number 22. Take the circle, please. Oh, this is your boy, Kelly.
I spotted him running out of a candy store. He robbed and slugged the owner.
This your first offense, son?
Don't you know?
Well, we don't have a record on you. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, it's my first offense.
You want to tell us about it?
What's there to tell? You know it all anyway.
Come on, just tell us your story.
What are you making a big federal case out of a lousy stick-up for? Ain't you got nothing better to do with your time?
We got plenty of time. You're not going anywhere for a while. Why don't you just tell us about it?
What's there to tell? There was a candy store stuck up, that's all.
You mean a candy store you stuck up, don't you?
Well, that's for me to know and you to prove.
Well, we know you did it. Why?
I ran out of butts.
Shut up! Why did you do it?
Look, I told you, what more do you want?
We want to hear what you've got to say. Why you picked this particular candy store.
Okay, I'll tell you why. I put slips in a hat and I picked it.
Now, you're much smarter than that.
Okay. I picked it because this old crumb that runs it looks like he's a pushover.
Makes sense.
Look, I'm up here so you can take a good look at me, okay? Look, see me? Take a good look.
Did you have a gun?
Just a toy.
You pulled a stick up with a toy gun?
Yeah, that's right.
How do you scare a man with a toy weapon?
Well, I used a dirty look. I got a real mean look when I use it.
So you did use a gun?
Well, if I used my dirty look, it wouldn't have made much sense to use a toy gun, now would it?
Didn't you tell that old man to open up that cash register or you'd give him the barrel of that gun over his head? Is that what you said, or isn't it?
I didn't make a tape recording of what I said.
But you did force him to open that cash register while you were holding the gun on him, now didn't you?
I suppose I...
And how much money did you get?
Oh, no, your cops took it. Can't they count?
$12, is that right?
Yeah, I cleaned out that register and I blew, period.
You mean you cleaned out the register and hit that old man, don't you?
I never hit nobody in my life.
Why did you hit him?
I didn't.
Where did you hit him?
I told you I didn't hit him.
He started yelling, that's why you hit him, isn't it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, we know you hit him, we just want to know why.
Maybe somebody else hit him after I left.
Oh, you were picked up just as you were leaving the store. Now, why did you hit him?
I told you I didn't hit him.
Right after you robbed that old man, he was taken to the hospital with a gash in his scalp. Now, what about that?
You save your questions for the trial. I'm not going to say another word.
You already had your money. Why did you have to hit him? Were you afraid? Is that it? Were you afraid?
Afraid of what? Old man?
Afraid he'd tell who held him up. Afraid he'd start yelling. What were you afraid of?
I wasn't afraid of nothing. I told that old crumb to keep his mouth shut. Now, he should have listened to me.
Then he did start yelling.
You ask him!
We're asking you.
All right, then he yelled. I just came in there, and I cleaned out the register, and I took 12 lousy bucks. You should have listened to me.
Then what did you do?
I told him to shut up. But he wouldn't. He just kept yelling and yelling. He shouldn't have yelled. You ask him if I ever did him any harm before that. Go ahead, ask him. So I never even touched him before that, before he opened his mouth. Now you go and ask him. Go to the hospital and ask him.
We can't ask him, Steve.
Why? Why can't you ask him?
He died this morning. His skull was fractured.
I didn't mean him to die.
What? What'd you say?
I didn't mean for him to die.
Speak up, I can't hear you.
He says he didn't mean for him to die.
Well, just the same he did, didn't he? All right, step back.
Well, step back. You're through.
You picked a good one for your first time, didn't you, kid?
Number 17, take the circle, please.
Occasionally in our series, we touch on a subject that is far too real to be made the butt of my usual flippant remarks. Tonight's story of juvenile delinquency is certainly a case in point, and we have presented it with the hope that it might in some small way throw a little light on what has become a serious national problem. Television fans can be so demonstrative and unpredictable. At the time this happened, I was under the impression I was being put on a pedestal. My wife's not going to like this. She's always telling me not to leave my ashes on the floor. Tonight we present a very warm little story called Kill with Kindness. Reception seems to be rather bad tonight. Is your screen clouding up? Mine is. I think we'd better run a test film first. If you have no difficulty in seeing it, we will show you our story.
Catherine. Catherine, look at this. Here, dear. Here, come quick.
What is it, dear?
Look. There. I do believe it's a cedar waxwing.
Dear Fitz, you and your birds.
There he goes. Oh, it's very seldom that you see a cedar waxwing in the park.
Fitz, there's that man again. He comes every day.
Huh? Oh, yes. You know, he's a kind man. He likes birds. Anybody who likes birds is kind.
He looks about right, don't you think? Well, what about him?
I know. Oh, yes, I think he'd be an excellent choice. 5:15 p.m. One cedar waxwing.
I'll be back soon, dear.
All right. Oh, Catherine.
Oh, yes?
Catherine, about my butterfly collection, don't you think we could save...
Now, we've been all through that before, haven't we, Fitz?
It seems such a shame.
I'm sorry. I know what your butterfly collection means to you, but it will have to go like everything else. It wouldn't look right. You understand that, don't you?
Yes, Catherine.
Dear Fitz, it's always such a joy to watch you sort your specimens.
It's very delicate work, you know.
Now you're going to try to behave yourself, aren't you? And you're not going to say the wrong things?
Oh, I won't, Catherine, I promise.
That's a dear boy. Why, you poor man.
Me, ma'am?
Yes, you. Are you hungry?
I guess I'm always hungry.
I knew it. I just knew it. You know, I was looking out of my window. My house is across the street. And I said to myself, I said, Catherine Oldham, it would be an act of human kindness if you were to feed that poor, poor man.
You mean you want to give me something to eat?
Well, why not? You know, I made a pot of stew for supper tonight, and there's still plenty left. It wouldn't take me a minute to hot it up.
Well, that's very kind of you,
Oh,
ma'am.
gosh, don't you go thanking me. As I say, it's only an act of human kindness. Now, come along.
Yes, ma'am.
One thing.
Oh.
I must warn you about Fitzhugh.
Fitzhugh?
He's my brother. Oh, he's very eccentric. He says the wildest things. But you're not to pay any attention to it. You'll remember that, won't you?
Oh, yes, ma'am, I will remember.
Then come along, and I'll put some hot food into you right away.
Come in, come in.
It was just like I said. The poor man was starved. Oh, this is my brother Fitzhugh.
Yes, ma'am. They call me Georgie.
Delighted, Mr. Georgie. Won't you go right in through that door? He's perfect. Perfect.
Now, you entertain our guest while I heat the stew. Fitz, possibly you'd like to show him your butterfly collection.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Do you like butterflies, Mr. Georgie?
I don't know much about butterflies.
Ah, you're missing a great thrill. Here, let me show you. Oh, no, here I am over here. In its final and fully developed state, the butterfly is the most perfect of all diurnal lepidopterous insects, and oh, so beautiful in flight. Here. I'm particularly proud of this one. Difficult to catch because it flies so high, but I lured it into the net with tobacco smoke. Are you a stranger in these parts, Mr. Georgie?
I guess I'm a stranger most everywhere. I get around a lot.
Oh, no home? No family?
No, sir. Oh, nothing good ever happens to me. I guess I'm jinxed.
Ah, well, you mustn't despair. Remember, fortune is like a glass. The brighter the glitter, the more easily broken. If you have nothing, you've nothing to lose.
I never thought about it that way.
Well, that's the only way to think of it. Oh, please, do sit down. Take Catherine and me, for example. We're impoverished. Nothing left except this house and my insurance policy. But do we worry? Certainly not. Oh, Catherine, Mr. Georgie is all alone in the world.
Oh? Haven't you anybody at all who might be asking after you?
Oh, ma'am, I guess ain't nobody cares what happens to me.
Oh, but my sister and I care very much what happens to you, Mr. Georgie, don't we, Catherine?
I'll dish up the stew.
Well, Mr. Georgie, come right over here and sit down. My sister will have your supper in just a minute. That's right. Now, tell me, how do you like our little town? Have you been here long?
No, sir, not long.
Have you made any friends?
No, people ain't very friendly to me. Policeman told me to be out of town before night.
Well, don't you worry. As far as the police are concerned, you've already left town. Ah, here's Catherine with your supper now.
Now, you let Mr. Georgie be, Fitz, while he eats. Plenty of time to talk later.
Yes, Catherine.
Now, you go right to it, Mr. Georgie. There's plenty more in the kitchen. Well, it does my heart good to see you eat so well. Peace of mind always begins in the stomach, I always say. Where are you going, Fitzhugh?
I have to tend to something in the basement.
Later, Fitz. We'll tend to it together.
Don't you think we ought to get started?
Later, Fitzhugh. Oh, there's one of those pesky moths again. Get the insect spray, will you? There's a dear boy. Now, you stop fooling with it, Fitz. Kill it.
You wanted me to kill it.
Oh, now, Fitz.
Yes, you did. How could you ask me to do a thing like that? My sister tried to kill me, you know.
Oh, Fitz, the things you say. Remember what I told you, Mr. Jorge.
Oh, yes, she did. She tried to kill me. The insurance policy I told you about? Well, she's the beneficiary. Oh, I don't blame her. It's an excellent way to get some money.
Oh, Fitz, the stories you make up.
What I said to her was that there was no need to kill me. All we had to do was to find a substitute for my corpse. Then we could both enjoy the insurance
Now,
money.
Fitz, you stop talking
There's no
nonsense.
reason for you to
Stop
talk
it.
to me.
Well, your plate is empty. Let me get you some more.
No, ma'am, I don't think I better.
Well, now, don't be bashful.
Ain't that, ma'am, but it's getting late. I think I better go.
You're not going to leave this house until you've had some coffee.
No coffee,
Some
thank you.
tea, then?
No, nothing.
Milk?
Milk? Oh.
Some nice warm milk. Oh, it makes a body feel so relaxed. Fitz? Fitz, dear,
Yes.
I think it would be an act of human kindness if you were to give Mr. Jorge a clean suit of clothes. We can't have him dressed like that, dear.
What? Oh, no.
Well, maybe one of yours would fit him. You're about the same size. That blue one, maybe.
Oh, all right.
And shoes.
What size do you wear, Mr. Jordan? Shoes? I don't know. You mean you're going to give me a new suit and shoes, too? Maybe my luck's changed.
Fitz, you take Mr. Jorge upstairs and try on a suit of clothes. And meanwhile, I'll clear everything off here.
But I should attend to that job in the basement first. Shouldn't I, Catherine?
Oh, all right, dear. You tend to it. And I'll take Mr. Jorge upstairs.
Yes, Catherine. Thank you, Catherine.
There's another one of those pesky moths. Little monster. I caught it. I got it. You know, Fitz doesn't like me to kill them, but I do when he's out of the room. There. A nice little moth for supper. My, it looks as though it's going to rain. Mr. Jorge, you'll just have to stay the night.
Oh, no, ma'am, I couldn't do that.
Oh, nonsense, I insist. Now, you come along upstairs and try on that suit of clothes. This way.
Where is it? Where did she put it?
Now, you try on the coat. Here, I'll help you.
It's a beautiful suit. Beautiful.
That's a perfect fit. Perfect. Why, to look at you, anyone would say that you were a man of means. Now look in the mirror and see for yourself.
You know, it's very kind of you, ma'am, to give me this suit and feed me and all.
Nonsense. It's just a human kindness, that's all. A human kindness. And now you try on the rest of the things, and I'll see you downstairs.
Yes, ma'am.
There it is.
Well, Mr. Jorge, you look quite different. Now turn around, let me see the back. Well, I declare it's as though it was made for you. The sleeves need a little bit of lengthening. Well, I'll do that tomorrow before you leave.
Oh, I can't stay the night. It's been so long since I slept under a roof, I'd be uncomfortable.
Mr. Jorge, you're saying that makes me feel real bad. To think of it, A man forgetting the comforts of clean sheets and a soft bed. Well, I just won't hear of it, that's all. You're going to stay. I'm warming some milk for you, make you sleep.
Yeah, but...
Fitz will be very disappointed if he can't show you the rest of his butterfly collection. Now, wait just a minute. I'll fetch him. Aren't you finished yet, Fitz?
In a minute. There. Now I'm all ready.
Now, Fitz, you know what you've got to do.
Yes, don't worry.
Now, tell me so that I can make sure that you've got it straight.
Now, Catherine, I won't have you treating me like a child.
I have to make sure you're so forgetful, Fitz. Now, tell me once again so I won't worry.
Oh, all right. After the fire started, I'm to go upstairs. I'm to go upstairs. Then I'm to change into his clothes, and I'm to leave immediately.
You've forgotten something.
I have? No, I remember it all.
The ring. You've got to put the ring on his finger.
But it belonged to Grandfather.
That's why we must leave it, to complete the identification. There must be no question that the body upstairs is yours. Now, after you've put the ring on his finger, you must leave right away.
Leave right away, yes. Now?
No, not until he's asleep. Now tell me where you're going.
I know, Catherine, I know.
Tell me.
The Fenton Hotel in Springstead.
The Fenton Hotel, not the Fenton.
Well, what difference does it make? I'll find it.
Be careful, dear.
Yes, I will, I promise. Now?
No. And when everything is settled, and I've collected the insurance money, I'll join you there. Now, I want you to take good care of yourself, dear.
Yes, don't worry.
Yes, the nights are cold in Spring City. I want you to buy some nice warm clothes. Burn this in the furnace.
What is it?
It's the X-ray plates of your teeth. You know, I went to see that nice dentist, Dr. Craig.
How did you get them?
Well, I just took them out of the file when he stepped out of the room. Burn them.
Yes, Catherine.
Now, listen carefully. I'm fixing some hot milk, and I'm putting something in his glass to make him sleep. Be sure you choose the right one.
Yes, I will.
You know which.
Yeah, the glass nearest your left hand is for our guest.
The right hand, Fitz. The right hand. Now, let's go back upstairs. You've got to talk to him because he wants to leave.
Catherine, wait. Will everything burn? Everything?
Yes, Fitz. Everything.
Oh, that's a pity.
Yes. He was such a nice man.
What? Oh, no, I was thinking of my butterfly collection. Well, now, Mr. Jorgie. Oh, no, please, help yourself. What's this my sister tells me? You're refusing our hospitality?
Oh, no, it ain't that, but you've been so kind and all, I didn't want to cause you any more trouble.
Oh, it's no trouble. No trouble at all. We're glad to have you.
Now, here we are. You boys drink this up before it gets cold. Mr. Jorgie, your shoes are so handsome, but I think you better tie that shoelace or you'll go tripping. Here, let me hold that for you.
They're both tied.
Oh, dear me. I can't see a thing without my spectacles. Well, drink up.
This one's known as the zebra. Is found in the southern United States, although it's sometimes been known to stray as far north as Kansas. It flies deep in the woods. Deep in the woods or around the edges.
Our guest must be tired. Well, it's time we all went to bed. Fitz, why don't you take Mr. Jorgie upstairs and tell him where things are?
Come along, Mr. Jorgie. Time for a good night's rest, eh?
Night, ma'am.
Good night, Mr. Jorgie.
Here we are. I hope you'll be very comfortable. Now, if there's anything you want, you just be sure and let me know.
Look, this is your room and your bed, ain't it?
Now, don't you worry about that. Well, good night. And, pleasant dreams.
Wait a minute, dear. Where are you going?
To start the fire, of course.
Oh, you know I can't let you do that, dear. It's too risky.
Oh, but I want to start the fire. I like starting
Oh, I
fires.
know you do, dear. But if you botched it...
Catherine, you never let me do anything important.
Oh, everything you do is important, dear. Now, come on upstairs, and we'll see whether Mr. Georgie is resting comfortably. Now, come on, dear. Mr. Georgie? Mr. Georgie? Now, Fitz, you know what you have to do. I won't call for help until the fire reaches this floor, and then you'll be far away.
I'd rather start the fire.
Now, Fitz, you put on his clothes.
Oh, all right. Beautiful fire, Catherine, beautiful. Everything will burn and fly up and up
You
and
haven't
up.
changed. Hurry. What are you doing? Put that down.
Please, Catherine, please, Catherine, just this one, my zebra. You know how difficult it was for me to find. Please.
No, you are to change your clothes and then leave the house by the kitchen.
Please, Catherine, my zebra, please.
Your ring. Why didn't you do what I said?
You wouldn't let me start the fire.
You've got to go back upstairs and put that ring on his finger right away. If I hadn't noticed it, our whole plan might have failed.
Catherine.
Look. Pull it off. Hurry, hurry.
I can't. It's on too tight.
Pull it. Pull it.
It won't pull off. Catherine, what are we going to do? It's got initials on it.
Here, let me take it off.
Catherine, we've got to leave here. Never mind about him.
No, they're sure to notice the ring. They'll know it isn't you. There'll be an investigation. Mr. Georgie! No. Mr. Georgie! Mr. Georgie! Wait!